Hi, I'm John Gray, and you're in the right place if you want to improve your relationships, understand men and women, and grow in love. Today's question comes from Natasha. And it's a short question. How do I meet quality men? Well, I hear that a lot. Sometimes I hear the phrase, how do I meet conscious men? But really, that's the more popular expression today is, how do I meet quality men? So first of all, I'm going to help you meet quality men. But there are some men that just have no quality, okay? It's not the dominant amount of men, but there are drug addicts. That's not quality man. There are men that are lazy. They don't want to do anything, so they have no job. So for many women, that feels like not a quality man. I would agree. A man needs to first feel good about himself by what he can accomplish and achieve. And that's very hard for a man if he doesn't have a job or some way he's serving society. But there are so many men with jobs. There's so many men that are not drug addicts. There's so many men that are not violent. They're not, dangerous guys. When you look at them, you go, that's a dangerous guy. So out of this discussion, let's take out the dangerous guys, the completely out of work guys, and the guys who are drug addicts. Now, push them away because you want to stay away from those guys. But then you've got 90% of the guys are not that. And these guys, guess what? Might be quality men. But you'll never know it, because if your experience, when you say, how do I meet a quality guy, is that you keep meeting guys who are interested in you, and you kind of go, he's not a quality guy. Now, often we will describe quality guys by how we feel in reaction to them, which is, I feel attracted to him. When you feel attracted to a guy, you kind of go, now this is a quality guy. And once again, let's define quality, because I know this comes up for some women. Like there's some websites that say, how do you meet a millionaire? How do you meet a multimillionaire? Now, if you're saying that's quality, then you have to go to those websites. But basically, you're limiting your scope there. What you want is love. You want to grow in love. And the first step of that is to feel the attraction. But you need to know that in order to feel attraction, there's something that happens in our bodies, which is hormones. You need to feel safe in the presence of a man. When you feel safe in the presence of a man, then suddenly a hormone called estrogen will start to go up. And when that hormone goes up, you will start to discover, I really appreciate this quality. I appreciate that aspect of him. I appreciate this aspect of him. And suddenly things that are quite common about being masculine become very appreciative. In your heart, you will begin to open up. But the key to this whole thing is hormones. One of the challenges for women, and as I mentioned, many women feel, how do I find a quality man? How do I find a conscious man? And the implication is there's not enough. They're actually all over the place, but you're not able to see it because there's no polarity, because there's no attraction. You see, when you feel attraction, it's because someone is different from you, and it's like creates a magnet. And when that magnet is triggered, you feel greater appreciation, and you go, now this is quality. It's never going to be perfect. No one is ever going to be perfect, but quality is there if you feel attraction. You're able to see the good points and who a guy is. So how do you create that polarity? Well, that's the problem for so many women today. As you begin to become more independent, more self-sufficient, where you begin to feel, I don't need a man. Biologically, what's happening in your body is that your estrogen levels aren't high enough in order to appreciate masculinity. You see, it takes masculinity and femininity to feel attraction. But if you're more on your masculine side, and he's more on his masculine side, there's not going to be enough attraction. There's not enough polarity for him to behave in a way that shows his interest, his consideration, his selflessness. These are all great masculine qualities, but they don't come forth unless you're more on your feminine side, which is more emotional, more appreciative, happy, feeling positive. And also the key phrase here is feeling, I need a man. I know many women, they go, I don't need a man. It's just kind of like, I like to have a man. Truly inside, when your estrogen goes up, you begin to feel, I need a man. Now, why is that word so important? Well, if you go 3 days without eating, then you really need food. So whatever you eat will be amazing. You'll go, now this is quality. And then maybe it's only a bagel with cream cheese, but this is the best bagel I ever tasted. It's like fantastic. That's because if you feel need and you have a need fulfilled, you'll have greater appreciation. But when in your life, if you don't feel that need, then men just seem not enough, not enough. And I encounter this most of the time, not just from younger women, but from women who are older. And they say, you know, I meet a lot of quality men, but I can't fall in love. They've got a good job, they've got a good temperament, they're very interested in me. And I go, what's wrong with me? Why can't I fall in love? Well, guess what? In order to fall in love with somebody, your estrogen levels need to become 20 times higher than a man's. You need to double your estrogen levels from 10 times more to 20 times more. And then you begin to bond. And once you begin to bond, the attraction increases and you begin to see the positive qualities in him, because everybody's got negative limitations. That's part of life. But your mind will focus on the negative or your mind will focus on the positive. And then you can find that quality, bring forth the qualities in a man, and then you will have found a quality man. So you have to have the power how to bring forth the best in a man. And this is a big issue. This is why I wrote a whole book on this called Beyond Mars and Venus. In that book, I teach women who are more on their independent side how to come back and find balance, not to give up their independence, not to give up their masculine qualities, but to balance it with the feminine qualities, to define that part of them, which is not being, in a sense, like a plant. It's not being watered. It's not being nurtured. But as you come back to that part, then you can begin to see men, the masculinity becomes very, very attractive. And when that happens, you're able to focus automatically on what are the positive qualities, rather the mind will always go to the negative qualities. And we have a bias in the mind. The mind always goes to what's wrong, what the negativity is. So I always say when it comes to dating, focus on creating a series of positive dating experiences where you're not actually looking for the perfect man. And that allows you to begin seeing the qualities in a man that are so attractive and so noble. Because deep down inside, men feel very noble. And as you practice the techniques to bring out the best in a man, you'll see it even more. So I think with these tips and the added support of the ideas and Beyond Mars and Venus, you'll begin to see there's lots of quality men around and you will have what you want.